Hey guys, we recently got a question regarding water kefir and other probiotic products and wanting to do a special diet, like the keto diet. So in case you don't know, you've been living under a rock or something, the keto diet really focuses on limiting sugars and other kinds of carbohydrates. So what does that have to do with probiotic products? Well, the issue would be in having a probiotic product that doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. And logically, that makes sense. That sounds possible because all probiotic products, probiotic cultures, eat sugar in order to enact the fermentation process. So wouldn't it make sense that the finished fermented product, like water kefir, kombucha tea, or milk kefir, would be very low in sugar or have almost no sugar at all? And yes, that absolutely does make sense. However, keep in mind that just because your kefir or your kombucha has gone through a single fermentation process, that does not necessarily mean that all or the vast majority of the sugars have been eaten up. This is especially true, I think, with water kefir. Water kefir after the first fermentation usually still tastes very sugary. Kombucha tea, if you allow the brewing process to go on for an extra day or two, usually tastes very tart. It's obvious there is very little sugar left in it. And I think the same is true with milk kefir. But especially in the case of water kefir, if you want to use that probiotic product in harmony with some low sugar or low carb or no sugar and no carb diet, it would be necessary to go through a second fermentation. So like we've talked about before on this channel, second fermentation basically means you strain out those kefir grains after the first fermentation has completed. You might use those strained out grains to make a new batch of water kefir. But meanwhile, that strained water kefir that's already been fermented can be sealed in a glass jar or bottle, left on your counter for a few days, or even in the fridge for a few days, or both. First on the counter, then in the fridge. Meanwhile, the active culture still in the water continues to eat up sugar and continues that fermentation process. This is where you get that stronger, tart flavor. It's also where you might get some more of alcoholic content in the water kefir, and it's where it might start to bubble and produce that carbonated, fizzy flavor or texture as well. Some people put an extra sugar source in their water kefir at that time, like berries or fruit or herbs or something like that. But if you don't add anything else to the water kefir that is sugary, sticking only to something like herbs or lemon juice, something with very low sugar, then the final product you get after the second fermentation will have very little, if any, sugar left in it. The culture will have eaten up all the sugar in order to stay alive and continue the fermentation process. So there you have it. That's some basic things to keep in mind if you're wanting to use probiotic products, especially like water kefir, and stay on a low or no sugar or carbohydrate diet like the keto diet.